Consultants in Cleaning is excited to announce the addition of 2 new products to its ever-growing library of education and learning materials. Dick Ollek's new DVD entitled Increasing Profits Without Increasing Sales takes you step by step through the process of finding areas in your current operation that can add substantial dollars to your bottom line. The second offering is Dick's new book entitled Richard's Writings. He's bound all 50 of his 2012 blog postings into one book of over 100 pages. Now you can have them in one handy location, available for reference, and at a very affordable price. So go to the website, consultantsincleaning.com, and check out these latest offerings and all the other educational tools for your business. Both you and Dick will be glad you did. Welcome to Tripodcast, episode 278. It's Monday, March 11th. And in this Tripodcast, Dick Ollek asks, what are you doing to grow your business? You know, it's a fact. Every contractor loses somewhere between 15 and 20% of their business annually for a variety of reasons. In this Tripodcast, Dick offers some solid tips, suggestions, and strategies for growing your business. Let's listen in.
Recently, I saw a billboard that really got me to thinking, and it read, "What happens when your company doesn't advertise here?" Then in capital letters at the bottom of the billboard was the word nothing. And I couldn't help but apply that billboard to our business and what's ahead in 2013. The average BSE loses 17% of their business each year for all kinds of reasons, whether it's price, poor work, friend of the buyer, a new buyer wanting to make a name for themselves, a customer's downsizing. So I think it's more important than ever that you have a systematic plan for adding business this year. If you want to just increase your business by 10%, which is not much of an increase, frankly, but if you just want to do 10% and you're an average BSC, you have to increase 27% next year just to get to your goal. Now, if you're a contractor doing $500,000 a year, that means you're going to have to add $135,000 in business next year to get that 10% increase. So are you ready? Do you have a plan? And if you have a plan, is it designed to bring in the business that you need and that you want for the new year? So let me offer a few suggestions that might be helpful in saving you some advertising dollars and getting your name and you in front of the right buyers. First of all, I think it's important that you and your staff answer a few questions about your business right now. And here are some of those questions, and I want you to think about those and get your group together and talk about it. But first of all, what kind of accounts do we now service? What is their size, their frequency? What time of the day or what time of the night do we do them? What accounts are we best at servicing? Which accounts that we now service, and this is very important, are the most profitable? Do we have 20% of our accounts taking 80% of our time, and then we find out that they don't produce a satisfactory margin anyway? Some accounts make a lot of noise, take a lot of time, and then when you really analyze their profitability, you may find they actually contribute very little, if anything, maybe, to the bottom line. Be diligent in checking each one of your accounts and see which ones are really making you the money, which are producing the profits, which ones are just taking up the time of your time of day. Sometimes we really get carried away with large accounts being the cat's meow, so to speak, and they really are not profitable for us at all. Another question is, what hours do we provide the best supervision? If you're best at doing 6 o'clock to midnight every evening, 5 nights a week, it really makes little sense for you to go out and try to solicit the local newspaper that doesn't go to press till 11 o'clock, and then you got to clean from midnight to 7 a.m. What it does is it just consumes your time, puts you at risk with your profitable accounts. And large accounts don't necessarily translate to large margins, as I said earlier. In fact, quite often, the reverse is actually true. So what are the market segments out there? What are the market segments in our community that best fit our supervision hours? And are we servicing them now? And what's left that we're not servicing? And then the next one would be make a list of the prospects in your area that fit your size, your frequency of service, your time of service, your profit potential, and the supervision coverage. And I think you'll be surprised how many accounts are really out there that you haven't pursued. I want to explain a little exercise with you that I did recently with a client. And we had been through this process, and he proceeded to tell me that there just weren't any prospects left in the category that he was best at in his city. And in fact, he said to me, I want you to help me build a branch in another city so that I can experience the growth that I want. And he had picked me up at the airport the day before, and I suggested that we just get in the car and let's drive back to the airport. Let's just double back to where we were yesterday, and let's just see what is there. So if there's any accounts that fit the profile. Well, as we drove out, I pointed out buildings to him that were suspects in the category that he was wanting. And by the time we got to the airport, we had 42 new buildings on his list to pursue. Now, I'm not suggesting all 42 of those fit exactly the profile, but there were 42 people now that he could put in a database to check and see if they fit that profile exactly. And the problem was that he was so familiar with his city that he had become unfamiliar with his city and was frankly just driving by prospects that could be turned into customers. So let me ask you, how about you? Have you become so familiar with your city that you drive right by the buildings that could possibly become good prospects for you? So let me suggest you use some gas and just drive by and just drive with the express intent of will this building fit our profile? You may surprise yourself. Once you've created that list, and then call and visit them, find out who the buyer is, and begin sending a list of targeted information packets each week. Say maybe 10, maybe 20. This varies in size, of course, by city. We had some cities in our branches that we sent 5 a week to, and some we sent 30 a week to. But I suggest you mail them on Friday, and then call the next Wednesday and ask for a 20-minute appointment to discuss how you can mutually be beneficial to each other. This is a way that you can start to build a portfolio of prospects that hopefully become a portfolio of customers. In a later podcast, I will explain and show you some of the information that maybe you should put into this mailing that you send out. I call it an executive brief, and there's quite a bit of information that you can put in there, but it's an effective tool, and so I want to put that into a separate podcast because it does take some time. But in this particular episode, I just wanted to ask you if you had all the business you wanted, if you wanted to grow in this coming year, and give you some statistics on what it was going to take to grow your company. So answer the questions that we talked about earlier. Get your staff together, and if you're the staff, get yourself together and ask those questions that I alluded to earlier. And once you're through with that, then you can start to put together a mailing that would be an effective way for you to get in front of your prospects. And we'll talk about what goes in that mailing in a future podcast. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening.
You've been listening to a Tripodcast, short video and audio presentation about important topics in our industry. If you're a current subscriber to the Tripodcast, thank you. We appreciate it. If you're not yet a subscriber, please check it out. It's free and it's easy. Come to www.tripodcast.com, enter your email address on the right-hand column, and click subscribe. We'll send you out a new Tripodcast every Monday morning.